Hi, my name is David Fleming from the Disciples Ignited YouTube channel, where we are focused on Jesus, advancing his kingdom and preparing his disciples. Now we're studying the book of Romans, and this week we're in Romans chapter 13. And in yesterday's video, Paul began to teach us practical ways of living in this world. And then in verse 11, which is almost 3/4 of the way through the chapter, he says this: and do this. And do what? Well, he's referring to what he's just taught us. He's taught us how to live in this world in practical ways. And do this. And then he throws the punch. He says, understanding the present time. Understanding the present time? What is he talking about? What time is it? Well, he goes on and he explains, understanding the present time. The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber. They were sleeping? Oh, well, Paul was talking to people who were saved, yet some of them he's accusing of being spiritually asleep. And he's saying, it's time for you to wake up. But he goes on. He says, our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. Let's say you got saved a year ago. Maybe you got saved 20 years ago. Maybe you, like me, got saved over 50 years ago. Well, my salvation is nearer now than it was when I first believed. And yours is too. In other words, Paul is addressing this to people who are already saved, but he is telling them, some of you have fallen asleep spiritually. It's time for you to wake up, and get busy in God's kingdom. And then he kind of closes this admonishment when he says in verse 12, the night is nearly over. The day is almost here. In other words, Paul is saying, we don't have much time left. Paul is emphasizing that now is not the time for anybody to be spiritually asleep. Now, Paul's rebuke was unexpected, for earlier in this book, he has commended them for their faith. In the very first chapter, Romans chapter 1, verse 8, he says, I thank my God through Jesus Christ for all of you, because your faith is being reported all over the world. Yet now, as Paul has begun to get in teaching them about practical Christian living, he's saying, listen, some of you are falling asleep spiritually. You're not walking with Jesus like you were. And so some of them weren't doing really well in their Christian life. And so it's time for them to wake up. It's time for them to get involved. It's time for them to wake up from their slumber. Now, this may be you and me. Maybe you've been walking with Jesus for quite some time, or maybe you just began your walk with Jesus. But it's now time to wake up and get involved in what God is doing, for the day is soon coming to the end, because Jesus is coming again. Oh, but there's more to learn from this chapter, so join with me tomorrow and we'll get more into it.